If you're considering investing in a home battery system with your solar, this video will help determine if a battery system may be worth it for you. Hello, I'm Sinue with DroneQuote, an online marketplace that helps property owners buy solar and backup energy systems for their properties. And when it comes to batteries, we often get asked if a battery system is worth it for the prospect. In this video, we're going to discuss how one can determine if a battery system is right for them or not. To get to the bottom of it, it's important to start with what makes you want a battery in the first place and what your expectations are. Common reasons why people install batteries are for backup capacity in the event of an outage and savings in the cost of electricity from the utility. Let's start with how a battery system can save you money. Some utility rates are subject to rate increases based on time of use. You can program to discharge the battery during the higher rate times. This is known as energy arbitrage. In this example, you can see the cost of power for this home is a whopping 61 cents per kilowatt hour between the hours of 4 and 9 p.m. in the summer months. More than likely when you'd be running the air conditioning. Now, if you look at the solar and battery monitoring for this same home at 5:22 p.m. during these peak hours, the home is doing two things. First, we see that between the solar panels and the battery, the house usage is being maintained. And second, there's enough power between both the solar panels and the battery that the excess power is going back to the grid. What this means for this homeowner is that not only is he avoiding the 61 cents per kilowatt hour, but he's also crediting his utility account at the same rate of 61 cents per kilowatt hour. I should also note that this is also due in part to the fact that half of the panels for this solar panel system are facing west. So power generation goes on later into the day during those time of use rate hikes. I won't quantify savings for you because different factors come into play here. Namely, how much electricity one can avoid using during peak demand hours, how you program your battery to charge or discharge, and what rates are like where you live. And while attaining savings with batteries are a real thing, more people install a battery for the purpose of backing up their home in the event of an outage than they do for savings. However, the fact that you can use a home battery to save you money is a very nice bonus and increases the benefit of a battery system for your home. As rates continue to increase in the future, so will the value of regularly stored power in these battery systems, especially when you're able to replenish this electricity with solar panels. The most common reason why people install battery backup is for power outages. The three most populated states in America as of this recording, that is California, Texas, and Florida, suffered an average of 6 power outages per year, affecting 50,000 or more people from 2000 to 2021. And unfortunately, as utilities in fire-prone areas become more proactive in preventing wildfires by cutting people's power, a greater number of people face the likelihood of planned power outages, especially on windy days. This means that more and more people will be left without power in order to prevent fires in those high-risk areas. Because power backup capacity is a very common reason for wanting to get a home battery in the first place, it's critical to define your expectations of what you want to get out of a battery system. That way, during your first use in a power outage, you feel like you got your money's worth for what the battery is able to do for you. So let's say that the power went out right now. What all do you want to back up with a battery system? If you want to back up something of high demand, like a 5-ton air conditioning unit, you'll need more capacity than if you wanted to back up smaller circuits like your home office, your kitchen, some bedrooms, and some other circuits that are of low usage. The greater the battery capacity you need, the more impact it's going to have on the price, or in other words, the more it's going to cost you. What I want to make very clear here is that what you want to back up plays a big part in deciding if a battery system is right for you. Sometimes people have a notion that you can literally back up anything and everything in their home. And while technically speaking, this is correct, today's battery capacities make backing up the entire house a bit more challenging. This is due to the fact that the more things you back up with your battery system, and the longer you run those things, the less time your battery system will be able to serve you. That's not to say that people don't choose to install a bigger battery system to back up more electricity usage in the house, including things like air conditioning units. But like I said earlier, it does have an effect on the cost of the battery system as a whole. We've found that the happiest battery owners are those whose expectations were to power the essentials of their home rather than the entirety of their homes, especially if the battery system is coupled with solar. So what all can you reasonably back up with a battery system? People usually start with the kitchen because it's the heart of the home, and in the event of an outage, you have to keep the beer cold, right? From there, people typically back up parts of the home with additional refrigeration. Those can be things like a garage or a basement. You can usually get away with adding an additional bedroom or two, sometimes even an office, but anything more than that, and you're really stretching the battery's capacity in a single day if the power does go out. If you've installed a battery system for your home, let us know in the comments below how the capacity of the battery had an impact on deciding what you were going to back up. Okay, so let's say that a battery system can meet your expectations. That's only one part of the equation, and we still don't know if a battery system would be worth it for you or not. The last factor to consider here is the cost factor. How you pay for the battery system will be critical, because if you don't feel like shelling out the cost of a battery system out of pocket or in cash, perhaps it may not be worth it to you. Even if a home battery system can save you money and back up your home in the event of an outage. But what if you can buy the battery system with a $0 out-of-pocket loan amortized over several years? If you can lower your cost of electricity and have some kind of battery backup capacity in the event of outages for a lower monthly payment than what you're currently paying the utility, would a battery be worth it to you then? Or hey, let's not sugarcoat it, because we're not running that kind of business here. If you can back up your home at an equal or greater cost than your current utility, is it still worth it? I mean, I'm really curious about this, because personally, I would do it at price parity perhaps, but if installing a battery system would mean I'm paying $20 or $30 more per month than my current utility bill, I probably really wouldn't do it, because for me, a battery system wouldn't be worth it under those conditions. Well, what if you're a cash customer and installing a battery system adds a few years to your solar payback period, but you can power the flux capacitor in the event of an outage, or more than likely keep your meat freezer frozen, the kitchen going, and the internet running? Is a battery system worth it to you then? And finally, another factor in determining the value or worth of installing a battery system for your home is the utility rate where you live. If you live in an area where rates are 61 cents per kilowatt hour, then the battery system's worth is going to be a hell of a lot easier to justify than if rates were 14 cents per kilowatt hour, assuming savings are the thing you're looking for. But if you really do care more about backing up the house during an outage than the cost of the battery system, now all of a sudden, the battery system's worth is looking a lot more attractive. Plus, the extension of the tax credit and increase to 30% does take a little bit of the edge off of the cost. So now, as we get to the end of this video, I would like to ask, if you've installed a battery system, how did it work out for you? Do you feel it was worth it? I think other viewers would care to hear your opinions if they're considering installing a battery system for their own home. Taking the details we discussed into consideration can help you make sure you're investing your money in a battery system that is going to have you feeling like you made the right choice, whether that's installing batteries or not. If you want to get specific battery details as they may relate to you, we can help you get straightforward answers. Our online model is easy, educational, and transparent to give you the best experience and the best prices for your home battery systems. And finally, if you found this video helpful in understanding whether a battery system may be worth it for you or not, please consider giving us a subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on new content from DroneQuote. Hasta la vista, baby!